Hey guys, Claude Johnson here with GuitarControl.com, and I want to give you a quick lesson on modes. And modes don't have to be confusing. A lot of guitarists get confused by modes, but I'm going to try to just make it really simple. So first of all, you need to understand the concept of a scale. So out of the 12 notes of music, a scale is just a collection of those notes, like a subset, right? So instead of using all 12, we just use like maybe 7 notes. So for example, C major. So that scale has C, D, E, F, G, A, B. No sharps, no flats, which makes it a great scale for teaching as well as learning the fretboard. And I want you to understand the difference between a pattern, like a fretboard pattern, and the scale itself. So right here, I happen to be playing the low E string, 8th fret, 10th fret, but I could play it here. And it's still the C major scale, or here. All right, so the important thing is the notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Also, there's going to be a certain interval pattern. So, it goes like 2 frets, which is called a whole step. Let me back up. So one fret is called a half step, 2 is called a whole step. So with a major scale, starting from the root, it's always going to be whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So for example, C, and then whole step, another whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, one more whole step, and then half step to get back to the root. So now the modes are just derived from that major scale, but they start on a different note. So for example, instead of going C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, what if you start at the second note D and just go up D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So instead of this, which is your C major, you'd have this. Okay? Now, you might ask, okay, well, if I'm trying to learn the scale all over the neck, C, why do I care about figuring out different patterns that start in different notes? So again, it's not about the pattern, it's about the mode or the scale. So here's like what I think is kind of the key of all of it. So you use the major scale in the first place to derive the mode or to figure out what the notes are. But then once you do that, you kind of have your own scale. The mode becomes its own thing. So I'll give you a couple of examples. So let's take the second mode, which is D, Dorian. And I should explain one more thing. So in the key of C as like your master scale, your second mode, Dorian, would be D Dorian. If you were in the key of, let's say, G, as your sort of master key, your second mode, Dorian, would be A Dorian. So, the names of the modes, I should go over that probably too. Mode number 1, Ionian, which is the same as the major scale. Mode number 2 is Dorian. Mode number 3 is Phrygian. Number 4 is Lydian. Number 5 is Mixolydian. Number 6 is Aeolian, also which is the minor scale. And then the 7th one is called Locrian. Alrighty? So, back to what I was saying with my example. If we're in the key of C, your Dorian mode is going to be D Dorian. And if I just noodle around a little bit, you can hear the Dorian mode has its own kind of sound. It's kind of a minor, bluesy kind of sound. I don't know how to describe it, but it has its own sound, very different than like the major scale. Right? That's the major, and then the Dorian, which I just played for you, has a different sound to it. So that's why you would, you know, want to learn the Dorian mode, because even though it's derived from the C major, now it has its own sound, and part of the reason of that is because it has its own interval pattern. So instead of going whole step, half step, and this one starts with one whole step and then a half step right away, which gives it kind of more of a minor sound because of that minor third interval between the third degree and the root. Anyway, let me give you one more example, and hopefully this will kind of cement it all together. If I take the minor scale, which is the 6th degree, we're going to stay in the key of C, but then we go to our 6th degree. That's the A minor. Okay, so you could play C, you know, C major, but then just emphasize the A note. And I'm not going to go into like how to use all the modes, but if you just take a simple example of playing like an A minor chord, you can kind of see how this mode fits over that chord. Okay, a lot better than C major if you were playing, or A major for that matter, you know. So hopefully that made sense. If I have like an A minor chord, you know, I'm not going to start playing A major. It would just sound totally like weird, right? So A minor chord, you're expecting to hear something minor. So again, I'm not going to go too deep into how to use them, but all you need to know is, anyway, for right now, all you need to know is that you can derive all these modes from the major scale, but then once you do, they all have their own character and they become their own scale. Okay, so in order to play with any of these scales, just emphasize the root. You know, you could play like Mixolydian over an A7 chord. And it's going to sound more appropriate than just playing like, again, A major or something. So anyway, I hope that made sense. If you click the link below, or the link in the video description, I'll give you some more information on kind of writing all these modes out for you and some of the patterns. So check it out, and also you can check out Killer Guitar Control Secrets. I go more deeper into using some of the modes in a musical way. Alrighty, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.